This episode of NSCTV is brought to you by Ballarat Arms and Military Collective Society, Bushranger in Order, Combined Farms Council of South Australia, Geelong Firearm Courses, Geraldton Clay Target Club, Kilsyth Outdoor Store, Liberal Democrats, TAC Sport Australia, Leonora SSAA, and the Hunters and Shooters Society of Australia. Welcome to another episode of NSCTV, and thank you to our Patreon supporters and sponsors for making this possible. Western Australian shooters already have the worst gun laws in the nation, and there was a recent announcement of a 5-gun limit on recreational shooters. So what does it mean and how will it work? We speak with Western Australian shooter Nick Jones, who will be affected by the ban, to find out. So Nick Jones is a shooter from Western Australia. How are you doing, Nick?
Yeah, not too bad yourself, Neil.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. There's been a lot of talk recently about, obviously, the rewrite of the Firearms Act in WA and the way Papalia has been behaving. Is one of the things that's done the rounds is a proposed limit of 5 guns per shooter. So That's what I've heard, and I trust you've heard the same. Is there anything more than out that you can tell us?
At this stage, it's just a proposal. But as we all know, with governments, normally when they propose something, there's already wheels in motion to allow that to happen. There's also talk about like grandfather clauses as well. You've already got those firearms, you can keep them. Just means you won't be allowed to get any more without selling some. But if you get into shooting, you're going to be limited to 5. But they're all rumours at this stage, so no one actually knows what's going to happen.
Okay. So at the moment, you're over that 5 limit yourself?
Yep, I've currently licensed to have 8 firearms.
Okay. And you're not the only one in your family either?
No, Dad, that's how I got into shooting. The old man used to take us out as a kid. Loved it. Just grown it. Been around rifles all my life. He's got 10, 12, I think, at this stage, plus a few pistols. So,
So is it for predominantly hunting, I guess, or any other activities?
Yeah, I'm just a recreational shooter myself. The old man does pistol shooting. Just never really got into that side of things.
Okay. So there may or may not be grandfathering, as you said, but what would happen? What do you think it would mean if there was no grandfathering, if in fact there was a 5-gun limit on you?
Well, this is the thing with the 5 guns. Are they going to go further and restrict more calibers? So then you got a choice of like, okay, well, which way do I go? I've got my lowest is a 22 mag and my highest is a 375 H&H. All the properties where I've got permission to go to all got different varieties of game and terrain. I'm not going to go chase pigs with me 22 mag, but they're going to limit. Can't take this there, or no one knows actually what he's going to do.
So, in addition to having a certain number of guns, you would have to curtail the activities you do with those guns, because, like you said, there's certain calibers you're not going to use on certain animals.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to. I'll go up to a few places in the Kimberley, the Pilbara area. We go culling camels. I'm not going to go cull them with my 222 or my 22 250. I want something big that's going to, kill the animal outright.
Because I know in some cases that we've run in WA that humane killing is quite a big part of the decisions that do get made. Have been made in licensing. So if you're removing certain calibers, you're actually potentially creating an exposure there that you're just actually encouraging people to make decisions that aren't going to lead to humane outcomes.
Yeah, and like I'll go on a place not too far from home, about an hour and a half, just shooting rabbits, foxes, cats. Is the odd pig that comes through. But there's also deer out there as well. And, I've never been deer hunting or anything like that. But if I come across one, I want to, be able to hit it right and put it down one shot. I'm not going to go out with my 22 mag and try and shoot a big red stag.
So, in addition to this 5-gun limit, have you heard anything else that the government's thinking about?
At this stage, I can only go by what's been on Facebook. There's been no correspondence, via emails or letters. It's just all a proposal, and no one actually knows what they're planning.
Yeah, and they didn't give us any heads up on the caliber bans or the rifle bans.
No. They've been after a few calibers, like for the last 3 years in WA. Do believe there hasn't been like a 338 license in the state for at least 2 or 3 years that I know of. So that's been on their target list for up to 10 years for whatever reason. They don't like them. Who knows? But it certainly caught a lot of people off guard. They released it and they were quick to send out letters. I know people that got letters for, Lapua Magnums within 5 days of them announcing it.
Yeah. No talk about compensation?
Well, with the banned ones, there was the compensation, but none about like the 5-gun limit, like whether you've got to give them back or you're going to get compensated. No one's actually said anything.
Yeah, and with not trying to, I think, sort of paint out wars between the states, East versus West or anything, but you guys are paying, and we covered this previously, paying $256 for licensing your gun if you want to transfer a gun. And the same thing in Victoria costs $9.20.
Yep.
You've already got laws that actually fly in the face of the National Firearms Agreement, which is, for example, we've got permits to acquire in other states. That's actually hardwired in the NFA. And yet Western Australia doesn't have that. You've got your licensing of individual firearms. You don't recognise interstate licences, and now you're going off in yet another direction. I mean, that's pretty awful.
I mean, to me, with firearm licences, it should be at a federal level where it's good for Queensland, it's good for WA. But for some reason, with the West Australian government, they've taken it on themselves to, right, we're going to go in this direction. This is what we're going to charge people. And to be honest, the amount of money what we pay for that service, it's pretty ordinary. If you got that service in any other government department, there'd be protests and everything like that. But because we're, firearm owners, we just seem to cop it.
You can support the NSC's legal actions by becoming a donor at nationalshooting.org.au.
I guess for me, with the whole government's attitude towards firearm owners is stop punishing the people that are doing the right thing. People that are compliant with their saves, they've got the places to go shoot, and they do everything right. Yep. Whenever there's something bad that comes up about firearms, it's just a knee-jerk reaction. Okay, we need to limit this. We need to do this. Where, they need to start looking at that root cause before issues come up with firearms. I've seen a trend lately in the media over here is, they'll do a big drug bust. They might find like a kilo of meth and cash and everything. But the headline will always say firearms found during, the drugs, which to me, that's irrelevant. The main thing there is they've just taken a kilo of meth off the streets. Now, how many lives have you just saved there, or how many lives have you not ruined by that hitting the streets? Instead of, they're always focused on these weapons, what they've found, And 9 times out of 10, they're already banned those ones, They're AK-47s and or your pistols and stuff, like, which you can't have anyway. They're already banned, but that seems to be the headline of the papers and by the media.
Yep. Now McGowan's gone, which is good.
Yeah.
What can shooters do in terms of the fight that they're facing? I mean, obviously, you can sit back and do nothing, which is not going to end well. What can shooters do?
When they do hold the next election, make sure you vote for a party that is pro-firearms. Make sure you vote for a party where their preference votes are going. They're not going to go to like the Labours and that are anti-gun. And encourage people to go out and vote and don't do a donkey vote. Like, have a good think about, like, okay, this is potentially going to ruin what you do on a weekend, So just really make sure your votes count. And just if you get a chance, write an email to local MP, see where they stand on it, and try and find out who your pro-firearm parties are.
Yeah, definitely recommend that. I mean, that's sort of what we say too. If they go and see your MP, if you're not far away, because they do take notice of people who've gone to the bother of actually taking some time out of the day to do it. Or if send an email if you can't. As you said, pay attention at the next election, even if you're a shooter who's not affected by this. Even if you're a shooter who's in some other state, just hearing about what's happening in WA. Very, very simple. Don't let it happen to you. And the way you do that is you follow the advice.
I would also encourage the people who are fishers as well in WA. Late last year, this year, they announced they're opening up more marine parks, the limits in what target fish you can take, and really close down WA to deep sea fishing pretty much for up to 10 months of the year. So even those people can get on board and vote. Make sure you know where your votes go.
Sure. Okay. Just very quickly, what town are you in?
Mandurah. Okay. So about an hour south of Perth.
Okay. Well, Nick Jones, look, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for letting me do the interview with you.
Excellent. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. We understand the number of firearms came about from a conversation that the government had with pastoralists, who were asked how many guns should recreational shooters be limited to, and they said 5. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to our channel and get your mates to as well. We'll see you later.